everybody, welcome back to JazzedTutorials. This week we're back in Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop for that matter, and I'm creating another cool text effect because why not? I am making a cookie cutter text effect. It's really awesome. I didn't even know that was a thing, but apparently you can do a cookie cutter like effect in Illustrator. So I took all of that and merged it over to Photoshop and made something even cooler. So let's get right to it, and let's do this. So you want to take, so we're going to grab our type tool, which is over here below our pen tool. And now you could do a whole entire sentence if you wanted to, or whatever you're doing. I'm just going to do one letter, but if you're doing more than one letter for yours, you're going to want to do each individual letter on a separate like text layer. Just so that when you go into Photoshop to do the actual effect, you can edit each letter individually and not have it all mashed up. So I'm just going to do the J, so you guys can see one letter at least. But if you guys want to do others, you can. Hold on a second. It's extremely tiny. Alright, so I'm going to now make this a very large point. I'm going to use around 130, yeah. And the font that I'm going to be using for this is Arial Black. And you'll want to do the same exact thing because Arial Black really makes this nicely. Actually, you know what? I think it needs to be bigger than 130 points. So if you're doing your text, if you're doing one letter, go big or go home. So I would say maybe even 200. Easy. Alright, yeah, alright, that's a good size for a cookie cutter, am I right? You feel me on that? Okay, alright. So now what we're going to do is we're going to now change the color we want for our cookie cutter. Now, generally, I notice some cookie cutters are red, some are blue, some are green, some are yellow. It doesn't matter. Pick your color you want to use. I'm going to go with a red color just because it's there. Now we have to add the 3D effect to this to make it look like a cutout for cookie cutters. So go to Effects over here, on your top here, 3D, and Extrude and Bevel needs to be selected. And it's going to pop up with a window here. And basically everything, you can move it however you want. Make sure Preview is checked off when you do this so you know what you're doing, know where you're going. At this point, you now can move your, you can move it wherever you want to move it. Move it to the right, move it up top, however you want this to go. Hold on one second. I don't know why that's... Alright, there we go. Let's try this again. I don't know why that blue thing was getting in the way. Alright, so... Preview. Hello. Oh, that's why. Alright. Please make sure that you have your actual one selected. Street and bevel, okay. Preview. Alright, there we go. Got it. I didn't like how the blue was on there. So now you're going to want to move it around, place it however you want it to go. I'll go with that. That's about cookie cutter like, right? Alright, now over here on the bottom, next to the word extrude depth, is a thing called cap. And we would turn off the cap. The cap is on, which basically is giving you the inside of your text filled. We're going to unfill that, and when you do that, it now creates an open inside. And so at this point now you can go ahead and re-edit if you need to. So we're going to go like that. Perfect. Okay, click OK. And you're good to go. That's your cookie cutter shape. Now, you could do other things rather than text if you so wish. You could do hearts, you could do actual things. I just thought it was cool as a text effect, in my opinion, but you guys could seriously do anything you want with this. The same effect applies to shapes as well, just letting you know straight out. So, yeah. Now, you can change the color at this point if you don't like it. Mine's a bit dark, so I'm going to go a little bit lighter. It also may be, as well, the lighting in your extrude and bevel, so you may have to apply a new effect. Yes, please. Maybe not. No. Alright. we're going to go ahead and, whatever. I'm going to leave it that way because apparently you're going to be adding on new effects. So if you make a mistake in this, you'll have to go to edit and undo and redo it, because if you try to edit the effect on top of the effect, it won't work as well. So, alright. Anyways, once you have that made to your liking, go ahead to File and go to Export. And you're going to select PSD file. Now you can export this into Photoshop very simply. I will show you momentarily as soon as my computer starts being nice. Format. We want to use a PSD. That way we can open it in Photoshop and use it as it is. It'll come through as a transparent. It's good. So save it however you want to save it. And then we can minimize this. And we can now go into Photoshop. And I now have mine there. Yay! Now, when you open your PSD file, it's going to come already preset into a group. Go ahead and grab that group. And you may need to go and open a new document to make this, because it will actually shrink the size of what you've made. I had to do that, so I already have our document made, whatever. I'm good, it's cool. So now you can go ahead and move this wherever you would like. I'm going to leave mine right over there. That's my J. Alright, now let's make the cookie dough. Ooh, fun stuff, guys. To do the cookie dough, I'm using a texture found on google.com. You can do the same depending on the flavor of cookie dough you want. If you want chocolate chip, if you want sugar, if you want oatmeal, not that you'd want that, but if you do, whatever flavor of dough you want to use, go and try and find a texture of sort. I will show you the texture I'm using, which is this one right here. Mine's watermarked because it's a special texture I found, but I liked it, so I used it, and it worked. Alright, put that underneath. Now is where we're going to take an extraction of this and turn it into a text effect. So go ahead and take your cookie cutter shape. And what you need to now do is go into your type tool, and we're going to be doing this, we're going to be typing another text on this. So, guesstimating the size of what you've used for your text, we used 200 in the other one, but since this is a different size than what I have used in my other one, I used 130 point, just for a guesstimation in Photoshop. So go ahead and type it with the same font. Doesn't matter what color you use, because we're only going to be doing we're going to be using the texture to make our lovely little shape. So go ahead and duplicate your texture layer now. So you have two texture layer copies. On the textured copy layer, we're now going to highlight / click on the J. So make the J an active marquee that you just typed out in Photoshop. Mine's black. And then you're going to go down to the copy layer and hit layer mask. Now we can delete our J, and you will then be left with a cutout portion of your texture. Now it won't show up right away because you need to add effects on top to make it really stand out, as you just noticed. So if I make my main texture layer obvious, you don't see it. So what we're going to do is we're going to apply the layer mask now, so that way it's just one layer. And we're going to add some really neat effects on top of this. So double click that layer now. Start with a bevel and emboss. We're going to have an inner bevel, smooth technique, 100% depth, directions up. The size is 5 pixels, the soften is 0. Down below we have use global light checked off. I have a 90-degree angle and a 30-degree altitude. Down below, I have highlight mode for screen with a white color selected, 75% opacity. On the shadow mode, I've selected a color that suits the tone of my texture. So this to me, this kind of like orangey cream color, it matches my sugar cookie-like effect. So I'm going and using that. But you guys will do the same for yours by selecting a color choice that matches it. And that's shadow mode set to multiply, and your opacity is 75%. Moving down, we have a stroke. And again, I'm using 10 for my pixel. And also the color choice, again, is going to be whatever suits the textured color. So I used a creamy color that matched my sugar cookie-like texture. Then I added an inner shadow. Again, color selection has to match your texture, so go ahead and do that. Multiply for my blend mode. Everything stays the same. The only thing we're changing is 5 for your distance and 5 for your size, and your choke is 0. That's basically basic. Last but not least, we're adding a drop shadow, and it usually has black for a color, but we are going with a different color, choosing one that matches, again, a dark hue of your texture, so I chose that there. Everything, I have a 90-degree angle on that. Global light's checked off. I have a 5 distance, 0 spread, and a 5 size. Go ahead and make that layer active, and you have that. Pretty cool. Oh, and one more thing to note. I don't think I mentioned this, but in my stroke layer, I have the position inside. Usually yours are going to say outside, but I like it to be inside because it makes it more cookie-like, in my opinion. So once you've applied those effects on top of it, your texture should show through a little bit more than it was before, and it will look more cookie-like shaped. And that, my friends, is the essentially basic how to make a cookie cutter text effect in Photoshop. Or a shape. It doesn't matter. If you want to make a shape, go for it. The same styles we added to the text can apply to your shape. It's awesome, right? Alright, well, thank you guys for sticking around and watching this. If you did, if you loved this tutorial, do hit like. I love likers. If you have any comments, questions, suggestions, or anything, do send them below in the comments box. All links to my social media are in the description box below. You can find me everywhere on the web. I'm wherever you are. Thanks for watching again, and I will see you guys next week. Bye!